everyone, and welcome to Tacobout It Tuesday with This is Improv. My name is Angelica, and our guest today is Andel. Hi, Andel.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty okay.
Andel, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Like improv wise?
Yeah.
Okay,
Whatever you would say would sum up who you are right now in this very moment.
In this very moment.
Yes.
Currently I'm in an Airbnb in Arizona.
Nice.
So that's like my most immediate truth. And it's nicer here weather-wise than it was in California, which blows my mind because I'm like, but it's supposed to be hotter. I came up through improv in Chicago in the early 2000s at IO, which was Improv Olympic then, doing long form. Then I got hired to Second City and toured with them doing sketch comedy that's like social and political satire. I worked on cruise ships for a long time, which I love because it's like very not me and also like very weird. And then I got hired to Boom Chicago, which is an English-speaking theater in Amsterdam, and worked there as an actor for 2 years, came back, started directing and teaching. And so like a pretty solid amount of my entire adult life has been touring to different places and doing improv or teaching improv in some context. I have like nieces and nephews that I really love, and I make them do video challenges. I feel like that's my personality. In a nutshell, that's my personality.
Entertain me, children.
Basically, it's like, look, you're better at this than we are. Do something fun.
That's cool. Like all that travel and going to all those places, and every place that you've mentioned is, well known, and especially Boom Chicago I've been super interested in because I've only read about it because it's in another country. And so it's really cool that you've been able to go to all those places. Is there one place that you think really stuck with you as far as their philosophy of the way to play has gone?
You know what's wild is I think what has been so like lucky for me is I've been able to go to all these places and take from each of them what I liked and then put them together, which is more the Annoyance philosophy, which is another theater in Chicago, the Annoyance Theatre, which is to me like that's kind of where my heart is in Chicago. I never took classes there, but that's where like a lot of the shows I directed would go up. And then if I ever had a show that I wanted to do and I was like, I don't know if this is an idea yet, I would put it up at Annoyance because I think that they encapsulate like the philosophy of improv that I love the most, which is like take what you like about it and create. I don't know if that's a real answer.
That's an answer. That's
good.
Really cool. Yeah, I like that philosophy. Stick with it. But that's really cool. And I actually haven't read that much into the Annoyance, and I haven't visited, and which is so unfortunate. And I can't wait till everything is done because I've heard so many good things about it. People constantly rave about the Annoyance. It's cool to hear more about what it's about through your experiences.
Well, and I think like it creates what I love about improv too, I think overall is like this feeling of community and welcomeness. And I think it's interesting that Annoyance I felt comfortable going into, even though it's not as much mine as the other places. Because I think it does, like, it really allows you to be yourself. And I feel like that's the place where a lot of people find their voices because it says like, yeah, we'll give you some tools, but really like you got to figure it out and you got to try a bunch of stuff on to figure out what you love. And that's kind of what I love about
That's amazing.
It's like very cool. I love that place so much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I want. And what would you say would be the first time that improv struck you as something cool and amazing? When were you first introduced?
So I was trying to think, it's like, it's been so long and I feel like I've been doing it so long, but I know that I found it in high school. And there was this group of Second City alumni that would put together these like random shows on the Santa Monica Pier, and it was just like long form improvisation, and I had never seen anything like it, and I loved it. It was like the first time we were like, oh my God, like what is that? I need to be around it all the time. I want to do it. My family are theater people. So I had always grown up doing theater and like thought I was going to be an actor. And I think what clicked to me with improv was you get to play all the characters that, like, if I had gone on to study acting, I would be playing closer to myself. And I liked the idea at that point that I could play all these different weird characters that I would not be cast as. Because I was a character actor. I was playing, you know, older women and weirdos in high school and little kids and, you know, like all these things that like were a little bit bigger than a 15-year-old girl in the suburbs, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I love that. But like for my style, I wanted to do that. That felt more fun to me. And so being able to like have a little bit more control over those choices, I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
And it's funny to hear you talk about that, because just my experience learning from you and watching you perform, your character work is insane. It's amazing. Like to this day, whenever I create a character or whenever I teach anyone, I'm like, wait, okay, how did Andel do this? Okay, she was in this mental state. All right, and she told us to do XYZ, like the walks, the what's your character's interest, what's their goal in the scene, and the way you created the characters that we've seen, just as an example, just like, let's throw this away. It was so much fun to watch, and you do get so engaged in your characters because they are well-rounded, or at least that's what I saw. It was well-rounded. I really liked it.
But I think that's part of it too, is like that, like being able to like know that was my style and like lean into it and get to play with it. I think that's also the joy of the art form, is like finding your thing and like trying on new stuff too, of course, but also like getting to be excited. Like I love that about improv, is like I always get to be excited about it, which sounds so stupid when I say it out loud. Like, I don't even know how, I've never said that before. So like, I'm not even sure what I mean.
It's working,
but, like,
it's working.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good. But just that, like, there is something so like exciting about improv, is like showing up and being excited to do the thing that you're about to do and not knowing what it is.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly put, because, and that it's so intrinsically improv. You're always doing something different, doing whatever is thrown at you. Based off of what you've experienced, your favorite improv game, what would you say that would be?
That's such a great question. And I feel like I still go back to what was true when I was a child improvising. I think I have a better understanding of the games now because I've been doing it for so long. And so like I like a wider range of them for a different reason. I started out doing long form, and then a lot of the short form, like I learned by doing on cruise ships or at Boom Chicago, or like all these places where it's like, well, figure it out because you're getting paid to do it now. And it was like, okay. I love to play scenic games, and I love to sing. So like a sing it is like my ideal, where it's like I get to like play a character and connect and like build a scene or a story or a relationship, and then push it because I love playing with emotion and energy. So like I think those are the games that I'm still the most like psyched about playing.
That's really cool. Yeah, you are your energy embodied when you improvise. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that feels right.
It does. Yeah, you're telling the truth, I think.
Thank you.
Outside, off the stage, even if stage is incorporated, it counts. How has improv influenced your life? Where do you take improv with you?
I think everywhere, and sometimes naturally and sometimes on purpose. I think especially like in these like in harder times generally, or transition periods in my life, I think it's been really cool for me to have some of the improv philosophy or rules, like whatever you want to call them, to have those to like lean on and lean into, where it's like presence is really important. And so like if I'm having a hard time being present, how can I try to figure that out? I think like one of the main things as a player in improv is like being okay with the unknown, or like getting used to it. So that it's like, it's not necessarily like I'm saying, oh, I'm very comfortable not knowing. Like, I'm not lying to myself. I'm just aware that like in improv, there's always that moment where you don't quite know what's going on, but you still have to make choices. And so seeing that like in an active way, I think is really helpful. Like, I think that's kind of right now the best or the most applicable for my life right now. It's like, okay, the unknown, we're in the unknown. You don't have to pretend like you like it, because that would be dishonest, but like you're a little bit more comfortable with it as your passenger, knowing that like the next thing will happen, and like stay a part of it. Like, don't give up and don't lay back.
And I think that's definitely important to think about right now. So yeah.
Well, and I think like there's this thing too, like where it's like, well, you learn it and then it's easy. And it's like, no, you're always kind of cultivating this sense of play. Yeah. And I think that that's another thing that's been really fun for me throughout the many like different ways that I've done improv, or the different places that I've been doing it, is like always coming back to that center of play and being like, okay, is there enough play in your life? If not, like, mess with yourself a little bit.
That's such a good takeaway, I think, to think to where can I put this in my life? Where does my life feel like it's gone stagnant? And what about projects? Do you have any projects going on right now?
So I just finished like another series of workshops that I was putting out, and I'm going to hide in the woods for a month. That's my big project. Yeah. I was feeling like I'm used to like being settled for like a couple months and then traveling and teaching and like doing all these things. Obviously I'm not allowed in Europe.
Yeah.
So, which is like, that's just true. So like I've kind of been trying to like figure out how to like adjust and find a center. And so I'm gonna go, I rented a house near a lake in the woods, and I just want to like go back to the roots of like thinking about what I've been teaching and like reconnecting, so that when I come back, whether it's in person in a month or online in a month, I'm again refocused on like, what is this for? Why am I doing it? What do I have to offer? And how can I help other people like connect? Because I feel like I'm so connective and so community based. My project is going to hide for a month.
It's extreme, but I like it because, and this is why. So we are so connected right now, and some people are living with other people, and we're kind of outside of what's going on, but there's no escape from what's going on, because exactly what you said, we can't travel, we can't go anywhere, we're stuck. So I think that's such a great idea, honestly.
Well, and like, so I started, like, the reason this started happening is because I'm used, so like when COVID hit in March, like at the beginning of it, before we knew it was coming to America, I was in Rome. And I left, like, so I was on the beginning of a 2-month traveling to festivals and teaching in Europe and in New Zealand. And I, like, it all got canceled, and I hid in France for like 2 weeks, and then was like, well, I guess I'm going home. So, so like, I'm like grounded in a way that is, for me at least, like an opportunity to stay connected, and then also to like disconnect. And the reason this started was because I started Googling Airbnbs with pools that were near me, because I was like, I gotta get out. And then I started looking up writers' retreats, because that's kind of how I'm looking at this, is like an artist's retreat is like, I'm gonna go with my bag of books and reconnect with what I love about this, so that when I do teach again and I am coming back, I'm really connected to what that means to me.
That's amazing.
I'm excited.
It sounds exciting. When are you going?
I leave on next Saturday.
Wow. Oh, yes. Cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's happening soon.
What is something about you that no one could tell about you just by looking at you?
Oh, okay, I could go two different tracks. I'll go with the one I find. I don't know if you can tell this. Okay. My favorite genre of TV show is like supernatural drama.
What falls in supernatural drama?
So many things, because like for me it's like a very all-encompassing, like there's some really, really bad ones. Like there's one about a vampire who pairs up with a cop and they like solve crimes, and it's from the 90s. There's like good ones, like iZombie to me is like falls in the realm of it, where it's like it's a pretty good solid show. And then there's just like The Vampire Diaries, which is meant for 14-year-old girls, but I love all of them like equally. And I don't know if you can tell that.
I mean, I love supernatural and sci-fi everything. So there's always a desire for everyone to feel the same way. So I'm a biased contestant. Like I can't tell you.
Good.
But yeah, that sounds like fun. Have you watched Moonlight?
Which one is that?
It's another. I don't know if you're seeking out more fun pop with vampire stuff, but it's also a vampire who I think in the early 2000s.
I think that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, I remember it's whenever the iPhone started becoming big, because he always carried around an iPhone and was like, oh my gosh, he has an iPhone, he's a vampire.
Maybe, no, mine's earlier. I will look into that. I wonder if they were like, let's redo this one that was weird.
Yeah, when you said it, I was like, oh wait, I have one.
Okay, good. Send me all of them because I'm like fresh out.
Well, thank you. It has been so much fun talking to you today for Tacobout It Tuesday. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so good.
It was awesome.
I mean, it was fun.
All right, my name is Angelica, and this is Andel. And you have joined us for Tacobout It Tuesday on This is Improv. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you've liked watching us and you want to give your eyes a rest because you've watched so many of our videos, you can listen to our podcast. This is Legends of Yesterday, where we do talk about some supernatural fun stuff happening in South Florida. And if you... some more content. Please take time to look at the links below to hear about what's going on in the community and ways that you can help. Also, like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Hello everybody, my name is Alexandra.
And I'm Angelica.
And this is
Legends of Yesterday,
where we talk about histories, mysteries, and ghost stories of South Florida.
And the only reason trapped there. So it's like a purgatory, kind of hell.
What is around us, then it's really made Davie such a special place.